ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्णः परमात्मने नमः। ॐ या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थितः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु श्रद्धारूपेण संस्थितः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु भक्तिरूपेण संस्थितः नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। ॐ So, last time we saw prana and then we said we will enter into pranamaya kosha. So after annamaya kosha we are entering into pranamaya kosha as per the shlokas of Viveka Chudamani, right? So we will go to the shloka number 48. कर्मेन्द्रियैः पञ्चविरञ्चितोऽयं प्राणो भवेत् प्राणमयस्तु कोशः येनात्मवानन्नमयोऽनुपूर्णः प्रवर्तते सौ सकलक्रियासु. So, very clearly Acharya is now explaining what is pranamaya kosha. It is not prana, but without prana, pranamaya kosha cannot exist. As much as without anna, annamaya kosha cannot exist. Without prana, pranamaya kosha cannot exist. But prana is not pranamaya kosha. Okay. So what is pranamaya kosha? Says karmendriyaihi panchabihi anchitaha ayam. So that which joins with 5 karmendriyas. If the karmendriyas have to function, prana needs to be there. Without prana, activity is not possible. Right? and activity only says that you are alive and there is prana in. So all the activity, sakala kriyasu, what you need is this prana. And when this prana, it joins this karmendriya panchabhihi anchitaihi together, when they are there together along with prana, what is the outcome? Yaha bhave saha pranamaya astu koshaha. That is that pranamaya kosha. Yena atmanam yena yenatmavan annamayo anupurnaha. So see, annamaya is the container, pranamaya is the content. Okay, anupurnaha means it is filled with prana. This annamaya kosha is filled with prana. So if there is no container, the content cannot be contained. So if the content is contained, this container is filled up with this prana. And that which is filled up with prana and helps in all the activities is called the pranamaya kosha. That is why if you look at it, activity related prana is what we give the name prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana. Okay, and these pancha pranaha, when they are active along with the karmendriya or the physiological system, this is called the pranamaya kosha. Okay, the place where the prana acts and when that activity happens, it is called pranamaya kosha. And unless this annamaya is filled up with prana, it cannot work. Pravartate asau sakala kriyasu. For all the activity, you need prana. That is why we say pranasyedam vache sarvam tridive yat pratishtitam. Because without the prana, nothing can happen, including your mind cannot think. Including vijnana is not there. Including you cannot say aham brahmasmi. If you want to even think that aham brahmasmi, you need prana. Clear? So this pranamaya kosha requires for prana to, along with the karmendriyas, to have sakala kriyehi, to have all the kriyas working the way it is. Okay? Then why don't we consider that to be Atma? So how does the Upanishad tell? For Annamaya Kosha, I did not mention this. For Pranamaya Kosha also I have not yet mentioned. The Upanishad opens it out in a very peculiar form. The Panchakosha Viveka given in the Upanishads is in a very peculiar form. So what does Panchakosha Viveka do in the Upanishad? How does the Upanishad teach us? It says that you consider this Annamaya to be Brahman. Okay. Now, because it's an inquiry, you consider it to be Brahman. Okay. Then you apply all the properties of Brahman to that Annamaya. You make an inquiry. And the time you say that it doesn't comply, then it is like hypothesis. Then you confirm that your hypothesis is wrong. Okay, so the Upanishad says Anyontara Atma Manomayaha Anyontara Atma Pranamayaha Tenaisha Purnaha. You consider, if this is not the Atma, first is you consider Annamaya to be Atma. Then there is a clarification coming. Annadvaih prajah prajayante yah kascha prithivī gashritaha atho anne naiva jivanti athai nadapiyantyantatah annagam hi bhutanam jyeshtam तस्मात् सर्वौषधमुच्यते सर्वं वै तेन्नमाप्नुवन्ति येन्नं ब्रह्मोपासते अन्नगं हि भूतानां ज्येष्ठम् तस्मात् सर्वौषधमुच्यते अन्नात् भूतानि जायन्ते जातान्यन्नेन वर्धन्ते अद्यतेत्ति च भूतानि तस्मादन्नं तदुच्यत इति. Then comes तस्माद्वा एतस्मात् प्राणमयात्. तस्मात् वै एतस्मात् प्राणमयः कोशः. You consider that to be Brahman. Okay. तस्माद्वा एतस्मात् प्राणमयात् अन्योन्तर आत्मा मनोमयः तेनैष पूर्णः स वा एष पुरुषविद एव तस्य पुरुषविदताम् अन्वयं पुरुषविदः तस्य प्राण एव शिरः व्यानो दक्षिणः पक्षः अपान उत्तरः पक्षः आकाश आत्मा पृथिवी पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति प्राणं देवा अनुप्राणन्ति. Everything about pranamaya it will tell. Like that it will go to manomaya. Consider manomaya to be the atma. Then Upanishad will negate it. Then consider vijnanamaya to be atma. Upanishad will negate it. Consider anandamaya to be atma. And then suddenly it will jump and say it is based on ananda. This anandamaya kosha itself is existing. Based on Ananda, Anandamaya Kosha exists. Satchit Ananda. Anandamaya Kosha shows its existence. Ananda shows its existence in Anandamaya Kosha. Okay. In your Karana Shariram, whether Atma is there or not. And then beyond this, there is something called Atma. So after this Panchakosha Viveka, it will open out this Atma. Asanneva sabhavati asad brahmeti veda chet asti brahmeti chet dveta santamenantato viduriti tasyaisha eva sharira atma yah purvasya. And then the student has a question. अथातो नु प्रश्न्याः उता विद्वानमुल्लोकं प्रेत्य कश्चन गच्छति आहो विद्वानमुल्लोकं प्रेत्य कश्चित् समश्नुता. Oh. So now the teacher will explain. From the Atma perspective, consider how the Srishti comes now. And the teacher explains that so kamayata bahusyam prajayeti. So before Srishti Prakaranam, Atma decided to do this. Brahman decided this. Okay. And then Anupravesha, it entered. That is why it is different from all this. It's an indirect way of telling that it is not that. So after negating Panchakosha, what remains is Atma. Okay, and like that in two Taittiriya Upanishad Prashnas, this Panchakosha Viveka comes in detail. Okay, and that is the only Upanishad which talks of Panchakosha and so in detail. And it is very necessary to go that way. If you do not go that way, you have a problem. You will objectify Brahman. There is a problem because you will objectify Brahman. That is why the Upanishad is the only way how you can understand Brahman without objectifying Brahman. Okay, because the Upanishad ends, it is how it ends, says, so यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनन्दं ब्रह्मणो विद्वान् न बिभेति कुतश्च नेति एतगं हवावन तपति किमहगं साधुना करवं किमहं पापमकरवमिति स य एवं विद्वानेते आत्मानग् स्पृणुते उभेह्येवैष एते not that Asavadityah, it clearly brings out, wait, let me tell you, otherwise my mind will not go ahead into the next one. Wait, it has to bring out that Aham Brahmasmi, it will bring out very clearly. प्रजया पशुर्ब्रह्म वर्चसेन नियन्ते अन्नमयो see नम्यन्ते एस्मै कामाः तद्ब्रह्मेत्युपासीत ब्रह्मवान् भवति तद्ब्रह्मणः परिमर इत्युपासीत पर्येणं म्रियन्ते जुषन्तः सपत्नाः पर्ये प्रिया भ्रातृव्याः सायश्चा अयं पुरुषे. This Brahman is nothing other than you, that subject. Saha yaha, saha he yaha, this ayam purushe, no one else. Asavaditye, not different from the sun. That means that Brahman or that Bhagavan is nothing other than you. Ya evam veda ityupanishad, it will end that way. So it emphasizes and closes it that way. After Panchakosha Viveka, all the details is that it is that Tattvamasi Aham Brahmasmi, it tells, and hence that. Okay, so Upanishad has a very different way of putting it, otherwise we will end up objectifying that Brahman we will say. After that, coming to me, that Brahman becomes very difficult. Okay, so because it will end up telling that you can negate everything. How can you negate the negator? You can negate everything except the negator, right? If you negate the negator, negation cannot be there. The logic is that. So, if you say the whole room is empty, standing in a room, then you have discounted yourself. The room is not empty, you are there. Apart from you, everything else is not there, right? Like that, say that you can't negate everything because you, the person who is negating everything, is there, which is Brahman. Okay? And that's how the Upanishad will take. And very, very, especially bringing it that way, Kathopanishad, Taittiriya Upanishad and all are very, very terse in bringing it. The way they bring it is very different than the way we are talking and explaining. Because the Upanishad will not clearly tell that. They will ask a question and leave it to you for you to accept it that this is the only way. Like bringing to you into a checkmate position and saying that now there is no place to move, you better accept it. That is the only way. There is no other way. Only if you apply this logic, you can go ahead. And then you start saying, yes, that is right. Because then conviction comes. It is not something that someone told and I have to just believe it blindly. No. You have to negate it with all the ways, and then you say that, okay, now what is left? The negator is present. I can't negate that. Aham Satyam, Brahma Satyam, Ahameva Atma, Brahmeva Atma, Aham Satyam. That's all. And that time that aham is not RC, it is that OC. Because you have already negated all your RC in Sharira, sir. All the Shariras are negated. You can't bring it back and say that I am the only human being present. No. God. Clear? Right. So, coming back to this Pranamaya, very clearly in Pranamaya Kosha, he says Anupurayati, this particular Anupuranaha, it fills the Annamaya and it helps in Sakala Kriyasu. Okay, then cannot, if without the prana, if nothing can work, cannot prana be called the Atma? Let prana be the Atma. Correct? So immediately he clarifies. Because what is the logic which everyone has? If prana is there, I am there. If prana is not there, I am not there. Correct? Does anyone say if Atma is there, I am there, and if Atma is not there, I am not there? No person will say that. But every person will say, Prana hai, मैं हूँ. Prana नहीं तो राम नाम सत्य है. So prana is Atma, right? Lifeline of everything. Now that's a very strong logic. How do you negate it? How do you negate and say that that is not the Atma now? Okay, and that is where in the next shloka he will negate it. Says, Naivatmayam pranamayo vayu vikaraha ganta gantaha vayu anta vayu vadanta barihireshaha vayavaha antaha barihi eshaha yasmat kinchit kwapi na vetti ishtam anishtam swam vanyam va kinchana nityam paratantraha. Now by telling this, he has justified and made us understand that Atma Swatantraha, Prana Paratantraha. Hence, Prana cannot be Atma. What is the logic? For us, the logic is if Prana is not there, I am not there. So Prana should be the Atma. Now, something has to counter that logic and tell you that that is not the logic. So, what is the logic he says? He first says, Na eva ayam Atma ayam. Please understand, this Pranamaya Kosha is not the Atma. So, now the hypothesis is, I consider it to be Atma. Then, if I do not get proofs by which my hypothesis is right, then the other part of the hypothesis is only right, which is, it is getting disproved. Right? Okay. What he says? Pranamayo vayu vikaraha first. How does this Pranamaya Kosha exist? It is because of Vayu Vikaraha. If Vayu Vikara is not there, Pranamaya Kosha cannot exist. Right? What is Vikara? Modification. Modification of what? Air. Right? Pranamaya Kosha is directly connected to the breathing. Okay. So he says, Ganta Agantaha. So, incoming and outgoing. Vayuhu. Antaha Bahihi Esha. That incoming air and the outgoing air, the prana and the apana, is vikara. Vayu vikara. Is the Vayu vikara, right? What happened, Lalit? You seem to be lost. Okay. The air is coming in, the air is going out. Prana is getting in our system. The prana levels are keeping on changing. Prana and apana is keeping on changing. So vikaravat, it is not constant. Situation, you don't eat for few days, automatically your pranamaya shakti will go. You don't drink water, your pranamaya will just reduce. You will die. At the time of death, what happened to the prana? Vikara is that it stopped moving, right? That is what is called death. So there is vikara in it. and it is understood by Vayuhu Antarbahi Esha. Yasmat Kinchit Kwa Api Na Veti Ishtam Anishtam. This prana does not have any botheration about Ishtam and Anishtam. What is Ishtam? Likes and dislikes. Happiness, sorrow. So even in my happiness and sorrow it is there. It doesn't come and go based on, oh, I am happy so more comes, and I am sad so less comes. Oh, I am sad, let the pranamaya not come. It will just continue to be there that way. Till when? Till you die. Right? Seemingly looking constant, but having a lot of ups and downs. You ask a person with asthma, what is pranamaya kosha? That person will exactly tell you what is pranamaya kosha. Because we are easily getting it and we are able to manage it, we believe that it is always available for us and whenever we want, as much as we want, without paying any tax, without paying any charge. Right? And to protect is what people are saying, that you protect that, otherwise this pollution is going to kill you. You will not have air to breathe. Grow more trees. When we start suffocating for air, that's the time we value that air. So far as it is available, you always believe it is constant and always available as much as I want, whenever I want, wherever I want. Yes.
So Guruji, the main point is that prana, because it has vikara, which is modification, that is why it's not atma.
Correct.
Otherwise, because it is not bothered by my sadness or my happiness, it is similar to atma. Atma does not change because of my happiness or sadness. It is only because, but atma cannot be modified. So the only difference, not the only difference, but that is what the shloka is.
Because that is where you will be able to see in all the other, the vikaratvam is very clear. Mind changing, you don't need any text to tell you. Body changing, you don't need a text to tell. Okay, Vijnana, my intellect changing, you don't need a text to tell. My Ananda changing, you don't need a text to tell, because it is experienced by us. But prana is not experienced by us, so we believe it is constant, as though it is not bothering about anything. Dukh mein to bhi utna hi prana hai, sukh mein to bhi utna hi prana hai, and hence I can consider it to be Atma. But he says, no, it modifies. The other stronger point is, if you want to say, what happened to this prana post-death? You will not call it prana. You will not call it prana, it doesn't exist. That means it comes in when the person comes alive, either in the fetus, or at a particular time, or at the time of death, it goes. So there itself vikara is there. But Atma, there also vikara is not there. But for a common person, it is very difficult to extrapolate it beyond life. So you always take that in between that lifespan and try to say vikaratvam. So the first vikaratvam is it comes and goes. I can feel low, I can feel fresh. I can hold my breath, I can modify this prana shakti, and that is why pranayama is there. That itself, if vikaratvam is not there, pranayama has no meaning. We never say atmayama. We never say atmayama, no, because there is no vikara there. There is no possibility of vikara. Then what is the ayama required there? Wherever there is change, there only ayama is required. And that itself presupposes that there is a change. And which is, we understand it because I can stop breathing, I can start breathing, Kupurak, Kumbhak, Rechak, I do all those things and I am playing with this pranamaya kosha where vikaratvam is there. But for a common person who doesn't even apply anything, breathing is a constant thing that never changes whether I sleep or I walk or this. I can breathe heavily, I can breathe softly, but breathing is there and hence can be considered as Atma, and this can be a misconception. Is it clear? Okay. So ishtam anishtam it doesn't have. It doesn't bother about your ishtam anishtam. Swam va anyam va kinchana nityam paratantraha. Because this prana, though we feel is the one, please understand, prana is the giver of life. Please understand that. How does prana get vikaratvam? Is it by itself? Or something gives it vikaratvam? Can you give me one example where the prana is not independent, it is dependent on something? And if it is dependent on something, it is not swatantra, it is paratantra. You give me an example where prana depends on something. And if you can't give an example, then prana equal to atma.
When I run, I breathe heavily, right?
So,
because I decided to run, that is my manomaya.
Now what did you do? You understood? You decided to run. Where did your body energy go more? To your feet. To make it run.
Yes.
So who listened to whom? Prana listened to the manas.
Yes.
So prana paratantra, natu swatantra. Simple. The moment I want to do any kriya, how does karma come? How does kriya come? Before any kriya coming, what is the procedure? Or what steps does it follow? Navaratri Lalita Sahasranama. Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti Swarupini. First is Jnana. I need to have a knowledge of something. Only when I have a knowledge of something, I have a desire for that thing. Ichha comes. The moment Ichha comes, karma follows. Right? Where did the Ichha come from? Manomaya. Where did the Jnana come from? Vijnanamaya. So where is karma coming from? Pranamaya. So unless these two are there, because every karma needs prana. The moment you have a thought that I want to do that, all your energy goes to that organ and it starts working. So prana is paratantra, natu swatantra. So you have a certain portion of prana which are, when you call it as, it works by itself, swatantra. But certain aspects of prana is highly paratantra. Unless you know how to completely control it, even that so-called natural activities will also stop. For example, my digestion, my heartbeat, okay, my kidney functioning, my liver functioning. Is it swatantra or paratantra? Swatantra, it is happening by itself. You have no control over it, right? But suppose I want to lift something. I want prana shakti in my hand. I want to walk. I want prana shakti more to the leg muscles for it to work. Swatantra or paratantra? Paratantra. Okay. So-called, you may feel it is swatantra working. For example, my systems are working by itself. So it is swatantra. But don't forget, behind them to work, there is an order which is going on at the back, given by the mind, from your subconscious mind, which we may not be aware because we are not consciously giving it. But still it is paratantra. It looks seemingly swatantra, it is paratantra. How? Whenever I get stressed, I come to know that I get acidity. How did it come? Psychosomatic, all we mentioned, all the hormonal. How did it come? The prana could not move now. That means paratantraha natu swatantraha. Is it clear? Seemingly it looks swatantra at some places, but on inquiry, even that is paratantra. Okay, and especially you come to know that someone who has lost the motivation to live. Some people lose the motivation to live, especially elderly couples. If one person dies, the other person says, Abhi. They will not tell anyone, but slowly you can see withdrawal starts over a period of time. Why? I don't want to live. It's a deep-rooted ichha. And that slowly takes over and slowly fall starts. So all karmas, kriya, everything starts going down. Why? Mind has started working that way. They will not overtly express it, but it is deep-rooted in the mind. That is why it is working that way. The Ichha Shakti is now working as Kriya Shakti. No Ichha, less Kriya. Less Kriya, faster you will live. Is it clear? So, indirectly or directly, there is a mind connection to every pranic activity. And that is why they say when you are not healthy or something, think positive. That ability of the mind can even cure things like cancer. So any aushadha will work or any doctor will work so far as your mind accepts it and collaborates with it. If you are going to say this will not work and have any tons of medicines, it doesn't work. But this doctor doesn't do anything. He will just come and see you and he will just keep the stethoscope and just go away. Immediately after that, I saw that everything has started working properly. Now you tell me what is this effect? Is it prana or is it manomaya? So many of these are manomaya only, and hence prana becomes paratantra at that time. Is it clear? Any doubt? Okay. Right. So he says, Naiva Atma Ayam Pranamayaha Vayu Vikaraha Ganta Avaganta Vayuhu Antaha Bahihi Esha Yasmat Kinchit Kwapi Na Veti Ishtam Anishtam Swam Va Anyam. Doesn't bother about itself nor about others. It will keep doing. Va Kinchana Nitya Paratantraha. At all times it will be Paratantra only. It cannot be Swatantra. Okay. By mistake also don't consider, this is beyond my control. It cannot happen. If you decide, you can control any iota of prana. And this is very clearly been proven by so many rishis and so many yogis and so many sadhus that they can just do anything with their prana whenever they want. All this kundalini and moving up, all these are what? The siddhas. They are all playing with the prana because it's all being paratantra. They are controlling it, regulating it very much. Yeah? Okay. Next. So after these two, obviously now there is a controller to it. And who is the controller? Yes, introduced unknowingly the Manomaya Kosha. Correct? So he says, Jnanendriyani cha manascha manomaya syat kosho mama aham iti vastu vikalpa hetuhu samjnade bheda kalana kalitaha baliyan tatpurva kosha Koshamabhipurva Vijrimbhateyaha. Okay. So now he is explaining what is Manomaya Kosha. How did Tattvabodha explain Manomaya Kosha? Anyone remembers? Tattvabodha Manomaya Kosha? ज्ञानेन्द्रिय प्राणे मिलित्वा यो भवति स मनोमयः कोशः. Correct? So exactly he has told the same thing. ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि च मनश्च मिलित्वा यो भवति स मनोमय कोशः. ज्ञानेन्द्रियाणि च मनः. What is ज्ञानेन्द्रियास? शब्द स्पर्श रूप रसगंध. करेक्ट? लेना बैंक बाहर से जो अंदर आ रहा है, what does it bring? Knowledge. It brings perception, knowledge from outside to inside. So the indriyas are the ones which are actually bringing it in. After bringing it in, what happens? Is there someone processing it?
Mind is processing.
Correct. So, how does the mind process it? If it is processing it, there has to be a outcome. What is the input for that process? Correct?
The jnani.
Correct. The jnanendriyas bringing in all the five modes of five antennas, bringing in inputs are the inputs. Now there is going to be a process happening. Where is the process happening? Huh?
Sir, in man.
Ha.
Manomaya.
Okay, not Manomaya.
Oh, in man. Oh, okay. Because it is together, it is.
Okay. So when this comes and the process is happening now, there is an outcome. What is that outcome? And that outcome is called Manomaya. ज्ञानेन्द्रियैश्च मनः मिलित्वा यो भवति स मनोमय कोशः. What is this outcome coming out? What is this outcome?
Decision, action, or decision, or desire.
Emotional quotient.
To understand this, you need to go to that coordinates which Swami Chinmayananda has given. BMI, OET, PFT. You remember that? Sometime back we have done it. Or start writing again. You write BMI, give space. BMI. Below B you write O. Below M you write E. And then T. OET. Then write PFT. BMI converge all the three to V, something called V. So when you see it from V, it can act at B, it can act at M, it can act at I. When it acts at B, then O and P vertically down. M, E, F, I, T, T.
I feels environment back.
Correct. Body, mind, intellect. Correct?
Right.
Then what is the next one? OET. Object,
Body perceives object.
object,
Environment, thoughts.
Correct. And what is the third one? Perceive.
Feel, and think.
Correct. Perceive, feel, and think. And what is we?
Vasana.
Vasanas. So the vasanas which actually are coloring my perception, correct, of the object through the body. My body perceives the object and my vasanas color it. Are you able to get this? Okay. My mind feels the environment. And my vasanas color it. Intellect thinks on the thoughts. And my vasanas color it. Are you getting this? So when you go to that center one, mind feels environment. When you say body perceives the object, how does the body perceive the object?
Karmendriya.
Perception is
Jnani
कर्मेंद्रिय.
Perception, Jnani.
लेना बैंक अंदर आ रहा है.
Jnanendriya.
Correct. So the body perceives the object through jnanendriyas. So jnanendriyani, mind goes to the mind. This input of this first level, which is actually subtle part of Annamaya Kosha. Karmendriyas, Jnanendriya, where do they come? Sthula or Sukshma?
Sukshma.
But without the body, can it exercise?
No.
So body is there, but don't consider body is doing it. The ability which is there in the body using the prana shakti is actually doing it. And giving this input to where? Manas. What is this manas? It's a CPU, central processing unit. With this inputs, what is the mind doing? It feels the environment. It understands the environment. And that is the output of the mind. So the input is coming from the Jnanendriya, the mind processes it, and there is an output which is called feeling of the environment. And that feeling is colored by vasanas, and hence you say, I did like this, I like this. मुझे मन में ऐसा लग रहा है. Why? Because you saw that person, how his eyes were when he was saying, Jnanendriya saw it. It only gave the input. Who colored it that I did not like it because he saw that way is that mind. Not the Jnanendriya. Jnanendriya is going to tell the same thing to everyone. But each person's mind is going to process it differently. And hence each person's manomaya kosha is different. Ability of the Jnanendriya will be the same. Are you able to get this? So, if you see BMI, it is Annamaya kosha. And also has Pranamaya kosha as Karmendriyas and Pranamaya kosha for Jnanendriyas sitting in that BMI. Then Mind feels the environment is Manomaya Kosha. Intellect thinks on the thoughts is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Are you able to see this? How nicely he has designed it, by which we will understand it clearly. And between the body to the Karmendriya and the Jnanendriya and to the intellect, which is where the knowledge is being referred, memory is referred and process happens, you have a very big Manomaya sitting inside, who is the villain, who will not allow it to pass directly.
Sir, can you repeat? So BMI is Annamaya Kosha and Pranamaya Kosha.
Pranamaya Kosha along with Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas.
Okay.
Because body perceives the object. How does perception happen? You need prana, you need the Jnanendriya. And because we are talking of something which is coming from out, we are not talking of Karmendriya, but Karmendriya will also fit there because it cannot fit in Manomaya. Correct?
And sir, OET is Mano. So sir, which is Manomaya here? OET?
No,
PFT.
no. You have to go vertical. BMI is Annamaya. Correct? The second vertical is what? Mind feels the environment. That is Manomaya. The output of mind feeling the environment and giving you an output, that is that Manomaya Kosha. Intellect thinking on the thoughts and giving you that this is the knowledge and this is the decision is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Correct? Clear? And that is why Anandamaya Kosha doesn't sit here. It is beyond this now. Where the Vasanas are sitting. Where is the Vasana sitting? In your Karana Sharira. That is why Anandamaya is there. Yes?
But you said vasanas color the body perceiving object, right, Guruji? Vasanas color. But you also said vasanas is more on the Manomaya? Is it on the Manomaya?
How can Vasana be on the Manomaya? Vasana influences all.
All.
I like sweets. My tongue goes where the sweets are there. Vasana. I like this type of thing, I don't like this type of thing, likes and dislikes very clearly. It expresses very, very distinctly in the Manomaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha, when all the knowledge is there, why do you have specific liking for specific knowledge and specific easily understanding something specific? And mathematics is easy, but history is difficult. Manomaya has got nothing to do there. Are you able to get that? So Vijnanamaya is there. Okay. Now you will have a doubt between Anandamaya and Manomaya. Okay. And that doubt I will clarify it only when we come to Anandamaya. Till that you will mix up Anandamaya and Manomaya. Okay. And the more you get into, see, Annamaya has got 2 shlokas. Pranamaya has got 2 shlokas. Manomaya will have more shlokas. Vijnana will have more shlokas. Anandamaya will have 5 shlokas. The subtler it goes, the more explanation is required. Otherwise, you will make a mistake there. So let us complete this. I will not jump to Anandamaya and then say, no, because it is there, it is not Manomaya. No, we complete Manomaya. Till that you consider Manomaya and Vasanas to be the same. Because the Vasanas are going to manifest at the Manomaya Kosha directly. We understand it that way. My likes and dislikes are where? It is in my mind. I like sweets is my Manomaya Kosha. I should not touch sweets because I have diabetes is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Correct? That is pure knowledge. But I easily will want to oversee it and go with what I like. The Manomaya will overpower the Vijnanamaya. But both are coming from where? The Vasanas, which is deep rooted. So its manifestation happens very clearly in Manomaya, we know it. That is why we believe that our Vasanas are in Manomaya, which is not. Because if it is in Manomaya, you cannot change it. If something is there, if something is programmed already, okay, let me ask you a question. A lion eating any animal or a carnivorous animal eating any other animal is coming out of their Manomaya or the Vasanas?
Still Vasna.
See the difference now.
It has to be the vasanas, right, Guruji? Because it is
Vasanas. Everyone Vasanas. Correct? Vasanas means what? It is controlled or not controlled?
not controlled.
Not, that means it is programmed.
Yes.
Correct? It is going to come.
Yes.
Does the lion or the tiger think, oh no, ahimsa eva paramo dharmaha? Do the same thing to a cow or a donkey? Herbivorous. Because they love grass, they like the taste of grass, that is why they are eating. Or they are programmed to eat that way. So coming out of
They are
what?
programmed. They are programmed to live that way.
Okay. So that program is coming from there. Correct? Now come to this human being. Carnivorous or herbivorous? Or sometime khatta meeta? From where is this
Sir,
program?
there is Vasna, but there is also intellect through which he can decide.
Wait. So come to that. So it is not programmed. There is something called a liking which internally tells me that this is what I want. Then there is something called an intellect which says, today is Ekadashi, so no. Tomorrow is Trayodashi, so yes. Now is Navratri, so no. Today is Gatari Amavasya, so yes. समझ में आ रहा है? So the intellect is also playing based on the vasanas. Manomaya, if you keep it on a Dwadashi or a Trayodashi, that mouth will water. And if you don't get it, you will start getting heartburns. So it is now not a program. That program gets manifested out of your control. You can control it now. So directly the vasanas, normally for human beings, because we have an intellect which is well developed, we can get this manomaya down and the intellect takes over, then right decisions happen. If the intellect is subdued and the manomaya takes the decision, then a person with high diabetes will also run behind sweets. Justifying क्या करूं, कंट्रोल ही नहीं होता. समझ में आ रहा है? So it is not a program. The same thing you go, even if the cow is going to die of hunger, you keep a meat, the cow will not touch. Even if the lion is going to die out of hunger, the lion will never eat the grass. Because the program is that way. But for us, we will give special dharma also for it. Apad dharma. When there is no other alternative, sab chalta hai. Why? Because it is not coming out of a program. I can modify it and I use my intellect to justify that modification. समझ में आ रहा है? Is it clear? Okay, so with this, we have to now enter this Manomaya Kosha, understanding it very clearly, which we will see it in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, we will be having Vijayadashmi or Vidyarambha. So normally I will be putting the timetable of each class. Unfortunately for those who are in US, it will be the morning time, it will not be the evening time, so don't worry. But Vidyarambha is not going to be that specific to your class, because we will be continuing with this only. Let me see for Vedanta if there is something else, or just one shloka. I will just take a new shloka and leave it from Viveka Chudamani. Okay. Otherwise, for all the other classes, it will be there, and we will just continue. It is just to have a Vidyarambha, one new shloka, I will just take it. But anyway, we will continue from there and go. So all the Vedanta students will sit together. For Bhagavad Gita, I will be taking the 10th chapter and introducing it. Okay, like that we will go ahead, and I will give the timetable. Whoever want can join in any of these classes. It will all be online only. Yeah? Right. Hari. धन्यवाद. धन्यवाद. हरि.